Hi, my name's Harold. I've been kind of lazy this summer, and I've spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos instead of doing something useful. And the other day I was watching, looking for one to watch, and there was one they called Gasoline, 100 Years of Science and Sweat. And I thought, well, all right, I used to work in an evil polluting refinery. That might be interesting to see. So I crank up the video and I watch it a while. The next thing you know, there's my cat cracker. And then they switch over and there's my control room, and I know at least two or three of the guys that are in the control room there, and undoubtedly this part of the film, or maybe all of it, was made in the early 90s because my computers look brand new. And even the operators there at the board look brand new. But anyway, I was surprised to see that. It's just unexpected. And of course, it had the old company name on it too. There's another reason I know it was back in the 90s. And the engineer standing there was one from the 90s. So that pretty much narrowed it down. Well, we're going to have a different kind of a video today. I know that my channel's not a learning channel. And, I'm not ordinarily giving any instructions or anything, but the boss lady gave me the opportunity to repair the downstairs toilet, so I thought, well, why waste all that hard work, without making a video out of it? So I did. I don't know what you do about these problems, and it may be that all three of my viewers already know all about this stuff and would be bored to death watching it. I don't know that either. Maybe y'all stick around long enough to give me a comment about how you feel about it. But the last time I had anything to do with a plumber, they get about $100 to show up, and some jobs are just too simple to spend $100 on. I mean, I can understand them charged $100 to show up because they got to eat, and they've got to drive maybe 30 minutes to get over to your house to check out the problem, and then they've still got to fix it. So I'm not complaining about what they charge. It's just, why not save the money if you can? It's a job that requires very little knowledge or tools or anything. It's some people just haven't ever done it maybe, and they might decide to do it after they watch the video, And I've got a sort of a repair kit. I got it because it was the medium priced one at Wally World, and I noticed there's instructions in it, which I failed to read. And then after I got through, I noticed that I put one of the nuts on upside down according to the instructions. But it worked anyway and doesn't leak. So, well, before we get though into the video, I got an appropriate little joke here for to fit the thing. This plumber was called to fix a leaking faucet at a neurosurgeon's house. After about a 2-3 minute repair, the plumber handed the neurosurgeon a bill for $150. And the doctor, he says, "Hey," he says, "I don't charge this amount even though I'm a surgeon." And the plumber replied, "Well, yeah, I agree, you're right. I didn't either when I was a surgeon. That's why I switched to plumbing." All right, well, I can't help it. I'm not very good at jokes. We'll go right on straight to the plumbing repair. So what I've got to show you here is there's not much needed to do pretty much a complete overhaul on your home toilet. You can get one of these tools from the hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, whoever you got. I've used it 2 or 3 times, maybe about that much. Normally these are the only tools I use, and I only use this if I have to bend the clip on the chain. But this is normally all the tools you need, and this is all the kit you need. I'm not advertising this brand. I mean, it just happens to be what I picked up down at Wally World. And we'll cut it open here if I can do so without cutting my fingers off. And we'll see what we get in this kit. Shortly that'll let it all come out. This is your water valve. Here's all the little gaskets and fittings you're going to need. This piece here is the little flapper valve that dumps the water out when you flush the commode. And here's a set of instructions. So I figure if you can read at a say a 5th grade level, you can fix your toilet. And this little guy just screws in. He's all built in. If you don't like the height, you can, you know, turn it there a little bit, raise it up and down. Usually they come from the factory set, just as good as you need. So what we'll do, I'm going to replace this stuff in the downstairs toilet, and we're going to carry all this down there and get on with it. Okay? So other than the pliers, about all you need is a little bowl to catch leftover water and a couple old towels to keep the floor dry. And you can hear the thing kind of running there. That's why I need to do something about it. We'll pop this guy off the top. And we'll move over here and get a look at the insides. It's usually a really dark, nasty looking scene inside there because minerals in the water will have deposited themselves all over the inside of your toilet tank. Not to mention any microbes or whatever going around. And to start things off with, you need to close that water valve and then follow that line right up to the toilet tank. But before we unhook it, we're going to turn off the water and do a little flush job there so that there won't be much water left in the tank. So let me turn off the water. I'm going to have to move this camera back some more. Get this stuff out of the way. And we'll turn off the valve. Alright, so there we go. Get rid of all the water that could be in the way. And pull a little flapper up a bit, you can get rid of even more water. Sometimes I like to just sort of splash it around in there. But you can't splash much down the drain. And then we're going to spread out a couple of old towels. You don't even have to be old towels. You're not going to get them dirty. You're just going to get them wet. But that depends on the head lady in the house as to what you do. Then you'll want to go and put this bucket under the hose. And I'm going to let the camera down some here. I don't know how much I'll be in the way for this, but probably a lot. Hang on, I'll get to the tools. Okay, so here we are underneath the toilet tank, and that little guy right there is the one that's going to have to come off. And let me loosen it up with the pliers, and then I'll put the camera back on. Okay, so I took the pliers and I loosened that little booger up, and see if I can hold the camera. And we're going to unscrew the valve, and there will be a pretty good little cascade of water come out of there because the tank isn't empty. There we go. Well, yeah, there will be when I take the next nut loose. There's still a gasket holding the water in. Let me see if I can put my wrench on that. I'm going to have to turn the camera off. I can't work in this tight. Alright, we're going to pull the last little plastic nut off of there. And here comes the water.
Alright, so what we'll do is we'll reach inside the tank and pull up on that valve. There goes a bunch of water. So far it hadn't overflowed the pan, so I guess the smart thing to do would be to pour it down the drain. Let me do that and I'll come right back. Alright, I dumped the water out of there, so we'll let it drain again. Well, I was kind of premature there in emptying it because that's all the water. Alright, so we're going to come up here to the top. This little guy's what we just got through undoing, and I'm sure you recognize him in that pile of parts. So we're going to unhook this little line. This water refills the bowl after you flush, and it needs to be in there. I remember a relative, I used to fix this commode where it'd run in there and he'd come behind me and have it run out in the tank again, so his bowl was always dry. I guess that's, everybody's got their own ways. Now while we're in here, we're going to undo this little flapper. I've heard people call it a frog, and the chain is hooked on here. And it's hooked on really tight because that's the way I did it the last time. I don't like the chain to come off, so I usually bend the end of it around, but there we go. Now this is the only part that's likely to get you dirty, is the rubber on that seems to come off on your hands pretty regular. Now all we got to do is go get those other parts and put them back in. There's always a lot of parts in the bag, and there's always more than I need. So anyway, this gasket's already on here, so we just take this little guy and put him back in the hole. All right, and then we're gonna fix the little fella up with this hole right here is where we're gonna put that hose that goes over into that hole there. Anyway, we'll stick him back in there, and we've got a new nut right here to tighten it down with, so we don't need any of that old stuff. A little bit more water is running out now. I guess I disturbed it some. Alright, so what we're going to do, and I can't hold the camera and start. Okay, so the black nut is on the thing there, and you just screw it down tight, and then we'll take this water hose here and we'll screw it on the bottom of the piece sticking out. Hang on. I plugged the little hose into this outfit on the back here, and then pick up this piece in it. It's a little bit long for this one, but it may be a little short for the next one, so we'll just curl it around and put it right back in there just like that. Okay? Now then I'll get down underneath and put the hose back on. Let me see, there's the hose. Now you don't really have to tighten this down with tools, and if you're kind of a paranoid type, well, you can take your pliers and give it a couple of little tweaks, but be careful. Remember, this is plastic and it can't take much, and the gaskets and seals are fairly soft and pliable, and they get in there and they seal it really nice. So if you do feel like you gotta try your pliers on there, try them gingerly. Alright, now we've got the stuff tightened down on the bottom. Time to put this little guy in, and it's kind of dark, but you can see the little ears sticking out in there that it fits over. Let me turn this around, and you see the little ear sticking out there. This guy right here, and just slide him over that, and there he's set down pretty good. Now the only thing left to do is hook the chain. Let me back this thing out some. Alright, now then, we've got the chain here. We don't want the chain to hang down so long that it gets underneath this flapper or it'll make it leak. So you may want to take this little hook and move it two or three links further down, and then hook it onto the holes that are in this little arm here. There's 2 or 3 holes for you to hook it onto. And as usual, I can't do this with one hand. Alright, so we got it together. We've turned on the valve, and I allowed just a little bit more chain than I usually do for that little flapper valve, but it's going to be alright. I probably should put soap or something in there to knock those iron deposits out of the tank. I know it looks pretty gross, but it's mostly just iron deposits. Alright, so I turned the valve back on, and now that it's shut off, you'll feel under here for leaks. And you bring your hand back and it's wet, then you know you've got a leak. So far my hand feels dry, so probably everything's going to be all right. So let's double check this thing. Now then, if you let the chain get caught under that flapper, the thing won't shut off. And that's what I just did a minute ago, was let the chain get caught under. I'm going to have to make it just a little bit shorter. Okay, so like I say, we got parts left over, and the only tool I used was well, actually I did use both of them. I used this to undo the plastic fittings because they'd been there a long time, and I used that one to cut off the extra chain. It seems it was the extra length that was going down to get down to the flapper valve, so I just used those side cutters to cut it off. Here's a new little piece to put the rubber hose on that refills the bowl. Here's a new washer for the water line, but the one on it was good enough. And here's a nut for that washer. And so that I don't need to pay a plumber $100 to come out and do that. I can spend $100 now on something else, like I don't know, maybe that'd go towards a new gun or a machine shop tool, or what the heck, you could get three big bottles of Southern Comfort even, if that was what you wanted. So that's a job finished. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore you to death, and please hit the subscribe button, and if you liked it, hit the like button, and please make some comments, so if I'm getting off the track here, I'll know it.